I'm going to show you how to get started with UV, a drop-in replacement and upgrade for pip. And you might be wondering, well, why do I need an upgrade or replacement for pip? And there's a couple of good reasons for that. First of all, UV is orders of magnitude faster at installing packages. And second of all, it's a replacement for all of the virtual environment tools. On top of this, it manages a bunch of the mundane tasks of starting new Python projects. So to get started, you're going to have to get it installed. And I went to astral.sh here. I'll go to docs and then select UV and then go to installation. And it's preferred that you install this at the command line, right? So you can copy and paste this command in Windows, run it either at the command line or PowerShell, and then in the Mac or Linux, you're going to copy and paste this command. In a pinch, you can actually pip install UV, which seems a little recursive. The main reason you don't want to do that is because if you use pip to install it, you're sort of married to whatever the Python environment is on your computer. All right, and then the interesting thing here is that I'm installing at the command line. I don't even need Python installed on my computer, and I can install UV. And then UV eventually will act as my Python manager. All right, so it should just take you a couple of seconds to get it installed, and then I'm going to fire up a command line. Okay, so I fired up git bash here, so I'm on Windows. All right, but okay, it'll look pretty similar to users on Mac and Linux. Right, the first thing you might want to do is figure out if you have UV installed at all. And so I can just run UV, and I actually get the contents of the help menu here. All right, so these are the major commands. We'll see a few of them. You won't be an expert at UV, but you're going to be able to work with it to do the most typical things you want to do when you're managing Python projects. All right, so this is the same as if I run UV with the switch help on there. If you want to make sure you have the latest version of UV, it's UV self update. Okay, so I have the latest version. Let me clear the screen. All right, so at the most basic level, we're going to use it to manage a Python project. So I do that with UV init, and then maybe I have an empty directory somewhere. And if I do, then I run UV init inside that directory. And if I don't have one, I can ask UV to make one for me. Okay, so it happens just that fast. Let's switch into there, see what we got. Okay, so files and folder structure to manage a project. All right, you'll notice that, okay, it has a Git folder in there. It has a Git ignore. Yes, it has initialized a Git repository for us. All right, it's got a couple other files here. It's got a version file for the Python version, and I didn't specify anything. So this is either going to use the system global default Python or a stable version of Python in UV's managed Python directory. We get an empty README file, we get a very basic Python script here, and then we get a TOML file, which is where it's going to keep track of any packages or dependencies that I end up installing for my project. All right, and then let's just take a look at what it did for the Python version. All right, so it's using 3.1.2, and then if I don't want to use 3.1.2, I want to use something else. Well, I could change it here, right? So I want to use 3.1.4, I want to use 3.1.3, whatever it is I want to use. I could change it here, all right, but let me just leave it the way it was, and I'll show you an alternative to that. All right, let me get out of here, and let's start over. So once again, UV init, we'll do UV demo, and then the switch Python, and then the version you want. All right, so I'll just use 3.1.3. Happens lickety-split. All right, and then if you just want to kind of confirm it, right, I can open this again and see that, okay, it made it with Python 3.1.3. Okay, one thing you don't have here is the virtual environment folder. And so, yeah, I said at the beginning that it replaces all those virtual environment tools, right? So whether it's virtual environment, pipx, poetry, we don't need any of that anymore. But okay, where's my virtual environment? It doesn't show up here until I do one of several things. I could run UV sync here, and okay, I'll get a virtual environment. I could use UV run and then main.py, and yes, I'll get the virtual environment when I do that. All right, so it even tells me it's creating the virtual environment. And then just to prove that it's there, it is now there. The 3.13 interpreter is inside that them folder there, and along with any other packages that I might want to install for this project. All right, another thing that goes away is the idea of activating and deactivating your virtual environments. If I use UV run, UV manages. All right, so when I UV run, it actually does run it with Python 3.13, whether or not that's my global interpreter. And, on the fly, it activates the virtual environment, finds the interpreter, runs it, and then when it's done, it deactivates it. All right, so I don't really need to, if I'm in an IDE, well, the IDE probably activates the virtual environment by default. All right, but at the command line, if I'm just trying to hack together some scripts and things like that, I don't have to worry about that. All right, so UV init gets us this basic directory structure, right? We get the git ignore, we get a git environment, we get a git repo initialized, all right? We get a toml file to sort of manage dependencies, all right? That would take at least a few minutes to do if you had to do it all on your own, because yes, you'd also have to run a virtual environment tool in addition to creating a directory, initializing the git repo, and so forth. All right, so it's already saved you a few minutes at least. All right, and then if you want something a little more sophisticated, like a project that is eventually going to be a Python package or a command line tool, well, I can do that with UV init, and then I'll just package, and then I can put the lib switch on there, and this gives me a file and folder structure similar to what you would get with Poetry, and we'll just take a quick look at that. All right, so in addition to everything we got before, we now have this new source folder, which is where I'll put my code base. And we can take a look at what's in there. All right, so, and actually the code will live inside this folder, pkg. All right, so obviously we probably name it a little bit more imaginatively than I've done here. All right, the other thing you can do is something slightly different, and then make a new tool, and I can use a switch package. All right, so we get pretty much the same thing we got when I used UV lib. There's a slight change to the toml files across these two switches, lib versus package. All right, that's not something you use all that often, so I'm not going to spend too much time with that. All right, let's get back to our demo file, our demo folder. And how do we add packages? It's just simply UV add, and let's add something pretty big here. See how long that takes. You can see that it's happening pretty quickly. And yeah, if you've ever installed pandas in the past, you'll know that, okay, if I use pip to do that, it takes quite a bit more time than that. All right, and this was the first time I installed pandas with UV. If I do it again, it's going to be much, much faster. All right, and then let's just take a quick look at what happened to our toml file. We can see that, oh, okay, it added pandas in there. All right, and it's kind of got a loose interpretation of what version of pandas should end up here. At least 3.03, which happens to be, at the time of this video anyway, the latest version available. All right, let's get out of there. All right, and then we have this new file that's been added as soon as I added dependency into my environment, the lock file. And both the toml file and the lock file can be used to synchronize your project when people clone the repository to their computers. All right, so the workflow is kind of, okay, clone the repository to whatever the new environment is, and then it's going to be UV sync. All right, and this will install the versions and the packages inside the toml file. And if I minus lock there, it's going to install the versions inside the lock file. And they're just slightly different. All right, so let's just take a look at what's going on inside the lock file. Okay, so it's a little bit loose on what version of Python we can install, but it's telling me, NumPy is a pandas dependency, so that had to get installed when I installed pandas, and it's specifying a version, an exact version for NumPy. And the same is going to be true for pandas. Instead of it saying greater than or equal to 3.0.3, it's saying it must be 3.0.3. All right, so if you want to eliminate that, well, it works on my computer problem, you're going to run or instruct people that are using your code to UV sync with the lock switch, all right, to ensure that they get the exact versions. All right, and then, what if I want to eventually upgrade those lock versions? I can do that. So it's going to be UV lock upgrade. All right, so this will upgrade all of the versions of packages in your project. And then if you want to just upgrade some of it, you can specify a package name here. All right, so I mentioned that when I added pandas, it took, 4 or 5 seconds to do that. And I said, it's going to be faster the next time I do that. Let's see it be faster. I'm going to UV remove pandas. All right, so yes, it got rid of those 5 packages from the venv folder in this project. And it updated the TOML file. And let's bring it back and see the difference. So already it's happening much faster. All right, and the reason why it's happening faster is because there's a directory that UV refers to. Whenever I say add, it goes and looks in this directory, sees if the package is already there, and if it's not, it downloads it. But then the next time I use that package, it's still sitting in that cache somewhere. All right, and then if you want to see that cache somewhere, it's UV cache dir. Right, so it just gives you the folder name, and then I can sort of copy and paste this to open that folder and then sort of examine what's in there. Sometimes, they get a little bloated, and you don't want to take up all that space on your computer anymore, so maybe I want to clean out some of those packages that I don't use that often. All right, some of the bigger packages may take up to 1 gigabyte of space or something like that. The other thing you can do is just clean the cache altogether. All right, so I can just UV cache clean. And now I had pandas in there. I had NumPy and a couple other packages that pandas wraps around. And so that amounted to, a little over 3,000 files and 77 megabytes of space. Okay, and then, the only downside here is the next time I make a project with pandas, instead of it taking about a half a second, it takes about 5. All right, you can also see the versions of Python that are available for UV to manage. So I can just call UV Python and then list. And what this shows me is both versions installed already on my system. All right, so you can see them here highlighted in blue, and then versions that I could create new projects to be based on. And when I run UV init with the Python switch and refer to one of these versions that I don't already have, then it would download that as it made or initialized the project. Let's clear this one more time. All right, let me just show you 2 more things real quick. The first one's very fast. I'm going to use UV pip list, and this is going to show me whatever's installed or whatever dependencies I have for my project. All right, and then the implication here is that, UV is a wrapper around pip, so anywhere I use pip, I can just prefix it with UV and get a little bit of benefit from UV running pip. All right, but mainly it would be in a situation where, I have some legacy code that I've cloned to my computer. I want to use UV, and so, I use the wrapper here to install the requirements for the package. All right, so that was one thing I want to show you. The other thing I want to show you is sometimes when you're managing projects, you want to do something like lint the code, and you don't want the linters installed as a dependency for the project. All right, so how do I do that? I could simply do something like this UV run, and then, whatever the linter is, so black, for example, I could do that. If I do this, since I use the UV run, it's going to look and see if it's in that TOML file, and if it's not, it's going to add that. And it's going to install it if I don't have black already. That's nice. But I don't want it in the TOML file, so what do? I use this shortcut UVX, and there's a bunch of UVX commands. This is the only one I'm going to show you here, but basically it tells UV to run this thing and not interfere with the TOML file. All right, so let's do something so that our linter has some work to do first. And let's just make it way out of PEP 8 here, right? Some extra lines in here, right? Let's install something that we don't use. All right, and then, let's try UVX, and I'll try black on this thing. And if black's not installed, it's going to go get it, installed it, and then, we can just kind of safely ignore this warning message. All we care about is that, it says it ran the linter and that it reformatted the file. Let's see what it did. So I'll nano main.py here, and okay, it got rid of those extra lines. All right, it didn't do anything about these unused imports, and I mean that's what black does. It just reformats the code, cleans it up. And so usually when you use a linter, you may have to use two. So let's try UVX one more time, and then I'll use Astral's linter. And first of all, I'll just run check on it to see what it says about things. It has to download it, and then it's telling me that it wants to do some fixes here. All right, so just like I said, I have an unused import, and then I have this unused variable. It wants to get rid of those. All right, so we'll run check and then fix. All right, and it sort of fixed it, right? It didn't want to do one of them because it's considered unsafe. So I'll just do it one more time with this unsafe switch turned on. All right, let's try one more time. All right, good. Found the error, fixed it, and now just to prove that it can be done, there it is. The unused variable is removed. All right, and then let's just take a quick look at the toml file, and neither black nor Ruff has been added there. Okay, so that was kind of what we were going for here. Let's lint it, but let's not add the linters as a dependency. All right, but both Ruff and black are now stored in my cache directory, and so the next time I want to do something like that, I wouldn't have to download and install those first. Okay, so that should be enough to get you started with UV, and I hope that helps.